So this is a top knot bun that I have right here with my long, skinny micro braids, and it's easy to do. You just put your hair all up in a bun, and you wrap the braids all around. I'm not gonna elaborate too much on it because this video today was more about breaking down and talking about things that I notice in the world. I want to ask you guys out there, people in general, like, what is you ever thought about the fact that, like, most of the people, like, look at this generation that's going on now, right? You ever realize that maybe 10 years ago it was the whole 40 is the new 20 thing, right? But it looks like now this generation is all trap music. Everybody's talking about stuff that has a lot to do with the younger generation. Like, for an example, when it was the beef between Nicki and Cardi, people was bashing. First of all, Nicki's 36 years old. That's not old. I'm older than her by far. So that's not old at all. So I was like, okay, I realize the generation has turned around because people are basically talking about people being older. I mean, we're all going to get old one day. That's the point of the matter. We are all going to age. It's something that you cannot fight it. You can't go to the fountain of youth, you know. We're all going to age. So to call somebody old, age bash someone is just kind of the stupidest thing to do. I'm going to keep it real with you. Once I reached the age of 40 years old, like, I felt younger than I ever felt. Like, I'm so happy to be as grown as I am right now. Like, because I remember being 20, 30, even 30 years old. When I was 30, like, I felt so, I didn't even have half the knowledge that I have right now. Like, my brain right now, I know so much more. I've been to college, got degrees, everything. Like, I know so much more now compared to when I was 30. Let me tell you, I had just broken up with my then ex-husband and was getting in a new relationship, bought a house, and I didn't even really realize what life was about at that time. Like, I was still clubbing like heavy. You're still a kid. Like, when you're in your 20s, you think that 30 is so old, but it's really mad young. Like, you're not an adult, I think, until you reach 40. Straight up. Like, it's really very, very young. And I'm like, I'm partying every night. I'm going out. I'm like not even looking at things like serious. Like, I did not take life serious at all. It wasn't until I hit probably over 35 that I started looking at things with a whole different insight. So to those of you out there that are young, you in your 20s, you in your 30s, let me tell you something. You don't have to rush life because life goes on. You don't have to rush anything. Having children, doing all the things that you need to do, you're going to eventually be able to do those things. Life straight up goes on. Like, there's so much going on out there in the world that you really feel like you have to do everything. I remember being like 19. I remember being 21 and I was calling 25 old. Like, oh my gosh, that's so old. I have to have mad kids. I got to do this by a certain date. I got to do that by a certain date. But it's not true. Let me tell you, the time between 30 and 40, that 10 years, goes by so goddamn fast. Sometimes you even still look the same. Sometimes you even age backwards, that you look younger now. Because I was looking at pictures of myself the other day, even at 30. I'm like, damn, I look way older in that picture than I do at 40. Like, what's going on? Like, So I really feel like even relationships, like, I feel like I know my body even more now than I knew it then. I feel like, look, I got a glass of wine with me right here, right now. Nice glass of wine, glass of Riesling right now. Like, I'm just so grown and sexy right now. It's not even funny. Like, I have so much control over my body that I just know things that I didn't know before. And I really feel like it's just so much to life. There's just so much going on in this world right now that don't let nothing, like, don't be afraid to talk to somebody that's older than you. Like, I've been seeing, like, on Instagram and different stuff where people's calling people older, old, so and so. Let me tell you, I hang out with people in their 60s, 70s, 80s. You get mad knowledge from people that's young, that's older or whatever. I mean, as well as I learn the little things from the young too. But at the same time, it's like there's so much to learn from people that's older than you. Like I wrote a poem the other day. Matter of fact, I posted on Instagram where it says you're the sum of the four people that you hang out with the most. And I heard that from some preaching or somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's true because you associate yourself with millionaires, you're gonna be a millionaire. You're gonna learn all the secrets. And I worked around a lot of wealthy people and people that had their lives together that I like push myself even forward. And it's like the key to success is following the great ones. You know what I mean? So follow great people and do great things. You know, in relationships, let me tell you something to women out there. Like, if you got hurt in love this year at all, let me tell you, you will find somebody else 10,000 times better. And trust and believe when I tell you this, because I remember being hurt before, being cheated on, things happening to me and everything. And love comes and love goes. I'm telling you. And you end up bumping into somebody that make you even forget you was with that person. And you'll be looking like, wow, I can't believe I was so in love like that before. Like, I can't believe it. But at the time when you're going through that hurt, you don't even feel like if you gonna ever find somebody. Let go and just let yourself. I'm not saying sleep with everybody or talk to everybody, but what I'm trying to say to you is that basically let go and realize that, you know, how many people's on this planet? Billions of people, right? There's somebody for everybody. There's somebody for each one of us out there. Half the time we not with our true soulmate, but you probably close enough to where you with somebody that's somewhat compatible with you, that you got some type of energy. But if you constantly fighting with somebody all the time, just leave it alone, because that much conflict is not even necessary, and there's no point in even being with somebody if you find yourself that you waking up in the morning and you're fighting, or ladies, if you're with a man, you wake up in the morning, you're debating with him, or it's a constant debate, or he's putting you down, he's saying something to you, y'all not getting along. Why spend all those years debating and arguing when you could be spending all those years on vacations, trips? You could be going places and doing things. Like, I remember being in a marriage for 8 years and we barely did anything. And I dated somebody else right after that, and we was going on cruises around the world, doing mad stuff within a short period of time. So if you like waking up every day to the same person and y'all not advancing yourself, if you see that you're with that person and that person is not progressing you forward to where you're achieving anything in life, there's no point in being with them. If your relationship is staying the same and you're the same person you was when you got in it as when you got out, or you're worse, dead them. Get rid of them straight up. Because there's no point in being with that person. You will know when it's a good relationship. Trust and believe, because what you're going to start to see, and I'm a Libra, and I believe in balance. And I'm telling you, I like my space. I like my freedom. I like basically people who allow me to develop my personality. I do not like being with people who constrict me or anything like that. Or if you're a hater, I love and I care about my family. You're not going to talk about people that's close to me and think that I'm going to sit there and listen to that. And I see a lot of people deal with situations like that. No, you're not talking about me, my family, my brothers, my sisters. You're not talking about nobody. Because guess what? Straight up, those are the people that I love. And the fact that you talking about them shows me that you don't respect me, nor do you respect my family. You know, so I just was sitting here drinking a little wine and my thoughts was coming to my head. And I was just thinking about the whole situation, how this message might be for you right now. You might be hurting. You might be going through something, and you may need to hear this. But love is going to come to you. Trust and believe. 2019 is going to be your year. And the thing is when you open yourself up, I remember one time I had broke up with this guy. And I remember, well, actually, we split up, and I found out he was dating this girl that was like the secretary at his job. That when I used to drop into work, he didn't have no car. The girl basically was the secretary at the job, and he started dating her. I was so like depressed, like, damn, why would you? Oh, this is what happened. He had just bought a brand new car, and mind you, he was driving in my car the whole time. And then him and a new chick was in a new, you know how much that hurt me? Like, I was with his family all the time. Him and a new chick was driving in a car. But you know what I said to myself? The more energy I sit and put into thinking about him and that situation or talking about it, the more energy I'm going to feed into that. The moment that I backed off, because I remember I would go, because we shared a phone plan. I think he was paying the bill. He was paying the bill, but we, you know, for a little while or whatever. But I could see like all the calls he was making. I was investing all my energy into seeing what he was doing. The minute that you let that go and focus on every other thing, when you feed your energy into something, that consumes you. But the minute you let that go, let me tell you, your phone gonna be blowing up. He's going to be calling you, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, what's good?" I'm not saying to let him back in, but the thing is that the minute you ignore him and ignore everything and stop talking about him and feed, every time you say that man's name, you are feeding him. You hear what I'm telling you? Every time you say that man's name, you are feeding him. Saying somebody's name constantly, you feeding into that negative energy. So if somebody hurts you, don't constantly keep saying their name. Oh, I remember when I was with Tony. Oh, Tony used to do this. Tony used to. If you're trying to move forward, don't say that man's name no more. Just stop talking about him. Just stop talking about him completely and just move forward with your life. That's all I got to say to you. This conversation wasn't even supposed to be about this, but it's like as I'm talking, I'm just feeling like things like that because I've been in a place before where I was constantly talking about a man I just broke up with. I'm talking about him and the person he might be with now. I'm stalking their pages. I'm looking at things and I'm like, oh, he might be doing this. I remember when we used to go here. I remember when we used to go there. But the more you constantly talk about him, the more you're feeding him your energy. So if you just start talking about other stuff and look forward to your future, and then this applies to men, women, homosexual, bisexual, LGBTQ, whatever communities, whatever partner y'all are with, do not feed nobody with no negative energy, okay? Don't talk about them. When y'all are broken up, it's done. If it's truly over, it's over. Do not talk about him. Don't feed that man, that woman, that person, none of your energy. Don't look on their social media. Don't look to see what they're doing. Don't talk about them, nothing. Just go forward. And let me tell you, whatever is meant for you is going to be for you. You will be blessed in this new year. Okay? And that's the message I had. I'm going to put this on my YouTube page. And I just felt like, you know, I'm sipping a little bit tonight. I got my little wine. But I just wanted you guys to just, like, get that message. Peace.